And welcome to this live reading session. I do apologize for being 5 minutes late, but I'm here. We're going to do this. We're going to get into some live readings today. Just to let you know, though, if you are new to this, if you're new to the channel, my name is Hannah. So I am a Western practical astrologer, and I'm here to read your charts. I actually have a few in already. So we have 5 people in the queue, and I'm just going to continue then and get typing in the information, and then we'll get started with some readings today. Hello, hi there, welcome. If you are interested in booking a reading during this session, okay, you can just follow the instructions below. It does appear as if most people are going for the $25 birth chart reading. So I also put in a Draconic chart reading as well, because this chart can look at our soul's path, which I think is quite interesting. But if that's the way it's going to go today, with just, reading the birth chart, then that is completely fine. So I just want to start typing in the information and just follow the instructions below. So just give me a moment and I will get doing this. Typing in information. There's also the option to keep your reading anonymous, so your information anonymous. Let's see. Also, if you have any questions about your chart, feel free to ask. If there's any direction that you want to go when it comes to me doing this reading, let me know. How are we doing today? Because it's the full moon in Virgo, right? Okay. Interesting, Camille. Okay. All right. So, potential lessons. Gotcha. Let me move this over the side. It's a bit better. I do apologize if I'm quiet. It's just because I'm trying to focus and make sure that I enter in the correct information. Okay, we have another. So that's 6 so far. How about we cut it at 8 this evening? Okay. So 2 more are available. So just double checking everything. I've got all the information right. Okay. Thank you for booking with me this evening. And if I go to... Yep. Got that. Okay. Great. If I get my timer ready as well. So just to let you know that these readings are 10 minutes long. So you're not really going to get a super in-depth reading, but you can go to my website, hannahselsewhere.com, and you can book a reading with me there. You can book a consultation. So let's see. Okay. Thank you so much. We've got another who has joined. Let me see. We've got Nicole who joined. Thank you so much. If we go up, we also have Fran. Fran, this is a good way for me to get everybody in. But so Fran, I need to know some information. I need your date of birth, time of birth, and also your place of birth. If that's something that you want to keep private, you can, of course, just email me, hannahselsewhere@outlook.com. And yes, you can do that. James, thank you. My birthday was great. Went away with my partner for a few days. Went to Edinburgh, such a beautiful city. It's beautiful. Okay, so Fran, I'm just writing down this information for you. And Camille is going to be first today. Just it's first come, first serve. And then I will go through the list of everybody else who's booked so far. Let me see. So Love Life. Okay. Let me see if we've got anybody else. Yep, that's perfect, Fran. And Sean, the way it works is you need to send it to on PayPal. It's down below. The way to do it, it's down below. The instructions. No, they're not free readings. The way to do it is to follow the instructions, okay? To follow the instructions and we'll all be there. Okay, thank you for understanding. Okay, let's see. Right, so we have, and I'm just gonna confirm. We've got Camille. First up, got your information, that's perfect, thank you. We have Kishan. I hope I'm pronouncing oh, okay. K. We've got K. Sorry, K. We have K is next. And I'm just gonna. Okay, so I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, that's 8. We're cutting it off here. Okay, we're gonna be cutting it off here. Okay. If I just edit the title, so we're cutting it off at this point, and then that's going to be for tonight. Okay. Thank you so much for booking with me this evening. I'm going to say that the readings are closed. Fully booked. We're fully booked. Though I do think I got one more in. We're definitely fully booked now. Okay. Nobody sent any more payments. Okay. This is an urgent thing to say. Nobody send any payments. Do not. Warning, warning, warning. Okay. And I'm going to update it so you can't get to the link. Save. Because, yeah, we need to make sure that everybody gets booked in. We're good. And save. Save. Okay. Okay, so if I just double check, that's confirmed. Just need to make sure. And then we will continue. Thank you so much for booking with me this evening. Thank you for being here. Okay, yeah, fully booked. Right, perfect. So we can continue. All right, so I was just going through. We've got Camille is first. We have Kay, who is after Camille. Let me go up here. Yep. Okay. Uh, hmm. Is K. See, individual with the so letters K P. Okay, K P initials K P. You have sent through payment for a 10-minute reading. Okay, thank you for that, but you have not given me your birth information. I need your time of birth, your place of birth, and your date of birth for this reading. I need that information. If you're in the audience, initials KP, please get back to me. If you're not here, what we could do is, of course, I can refund you the money if we're not able to do yours, and then we can perhaps get somebody else booked in. I will let you know. But yes, this is the last call. So the last call. It's like being in an airport. Can KP board the plane? But yeah, KP. I need your time of birth, date of birth, and place of birth if you're seeing this. Right, but I have you written there, okay? Right. And that's Camille. Takes a bit of time to get everybody in. We have then Imani. Thank you. Yeah. Just taking down your information. Okay, Claire, no problem. Find, let's see. It's good to get everybody in. So I have the information. Fran, thank you for sending over. And I will do a confirmation of everybody in a minute, just collecting all the information I need. Thank you very much, Fran. Okay, got yours. And then Claire. Double check. Yep. And then Claire. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Claire. Thank you, Fran. And yeah, so back to Imani. Got yours. 1, 2, 3. Now, double check. Boom. 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 Okay. Then we have Erica. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, and then we have Olivia booked in as well. Great. Thank you, Erica. And then Olivia after. Also, just to mention, obviously this is going to take a while to get through everybody. So, it'll be here. Your reading will be here. If you need to leave, you've got something to do with your Saturday, Your reading will be here. It'll be kept up. Okay. All right. Brilliant. Thank you, Olivia. And then, yeah, we're back to Fran. Yeah, I've got you booked. Great. Then we have Nicole. We have Nicole. Is Nicole in the audience? Are you there? I'm pretty sure in America it is always, just wanted to double check. It's definitely, actually I can't really no, actually I can because it's not kept anonymous. Okay. 12th of September, I'm assuming, for Nicole. Yes. 12th of September. Just that first part. I'm pretty sure in the United States that's how you do it, right? You do the month first and then you do the date after. Okay. Brilliant. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you for confirming. All right. And then we have let's double check. Okay, brilliant. It's Nicole's. And then Claire's got yours. Okay, perfect. And then we have, lastly, Butra. Is that it? How you pronounce your name? And then I need. Yes, Butra. Did you maybe message your information? Let me have a look. Oh, got you. Thank you. Yeah. 10th of May. Hold on. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Okay. I'm pretty sure we've got everybody in. Oh, sorry. The 5th of October. Thank you. Thank you very much. 5th of October. Okay, perfect. Yes. Right. So to confirm. Also, if KP if KP is in the audience, if you are hearing this and maybe you don't want to be in the chat, you could always email me the information, okay, so I do need, again, I need time of birth, place of birth, and your date of birth. Really important if you do wish to have your chart read. But of course, if you do not attend, if there's nothing here, let me say, if you do not attend, if you're not here, I can always send you a refund. Okay, so Fran, you want yours done last. All right, let me see. Last. Okay, I'll do that. And I'm sorry to keep you waiting. I will get to your readings in a moment, just to really make sure that we have all the information that we need. Sophie's Corner. Let me see. Let me have a look. You said you sent it this morning. Let me see. And did you send it, Sophie? Is it? Did you send? What was I going to say? Did you send it via what was the name for on the PayPal? Did you send it via PayPal? And Sean. Okay. Yeah. Okay, Sean. No problem. We'll add you in as well. 5 more then. And just to say this, normally with super chat stuff, that's not how payments are taken. This is just because Sean did send money already. And I think that was more of an accident. Yeah, got you. I'm Annie. We've got you. Yep. You're in. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. And yes, so Sean, you can do that then. Send 5 more. We'll do a 10-minute reading for you. But just to confirm this, the way payments are made on this channel, and I know I used to do super chat, but things have changed, so probably that's why the mistake happened. But yeah, that's the way it is moving forward. It's PayPal. And Miss Heather Smith, let me see. Okay. Yeah, the old way. Yeah, of course, Sean. I understand. I know. Yeah. So, yeah, that's okay then. We'll make that an exception in this regard. And Miss Heather, do you have the PayPal link? I mean, I've taken it off. So, did you say you were trying to pay earlier? Is that what you were trying to do and it wouldn't work? Oh, no problem, Fran. No problem. And yes, Sean, let me go up then and find your info. Yeah. And do you have a question at all, Sean? I feel like you do. I don't know. I feel like you have a question. You do have it? Well, if it works, if you want to send through that payment, and if it works, well, you're not going to be able to get it through my website. Yeah, okay. That's no problem, Sean, if you want to do that. It's up to you. Yes, no problem. And so, see, the link is now gone, so it's closed. So that's just we're just gonna do it this way. And just one more time, KP. Okay. It's up to you, Sean. You know, if you want to book it in for now, I mean, it will be here for you for if you're busy. If you want to do it next time, there will be I'm sure there will be a next time over here. And KP, I wish you sent your information. I really do. Maybe you will appear. Okay. Maybe you will appear and you can send your information, your birth information, time, place, date of birth to hannahselsewhere@outlook.com. Okay, right. We're going to get into this. We're going to look at Camille's chart now. Thank you so much for all of your patience. Ooh, that was fun. Trying to get everybody in, but we're here. We did it, right? We did it. Right, Camille. No problem, Sean. And yes, Fran, yours is going to be at the end. And yes, I'll be using whole sign. That is the house system I use. That's the go-to house system for me personally. You know, when it comes to my readings. And to let you know, Bush. How do you pronounce it? Bukra. Is that how you pronounce your name? I hope so. I hope so. But with your reading, it's going to be approximately an hour or so. All right. Right. Bushra. Thank you. All right. Camille. Okay. Right. So I'm really going to be focusing now on people's charts. So comments, stuff like that. I will take time for me to get to them. All right. So, Camille. Let me just have a look. So you want to know about potential lessons. Yeah. Let's double check. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. All right. So I'm going to set the timer now. Setting the timer. All right, so Camille, what I want to inform you about then when it comes to your chart is the fact that actually, what's really jumping out at me is the fact that there is so much going on in the Northern Hemisphere, but also in the Eastern Hemisphere. So, as you can see here, there's this stellium in the fifth house, but there's also this stellium in the sixth house for you. So, what I want to think about in this way then is just how much you're someone who is actively working on yourself. You're someone who continuously is seeking to improve. There's a lot of development in this way and personal growth, I would say, when it comes to you. And I also feel as if what's really jumping out at me is the fact that your fifth house is being activated for you this year. Okay, so with you being 28, this fifth house area is such a big deal right now, right? So you have Sun, Moon, Jupiter, and Pluto all in Sagittarius in the fifth. So what this is telling me is that you're someone who is full of life, right? You're full of enthusiasm. You're a very inspirational person. And I also think that you're really seeking inspiration this year. And perhaps what this is also signifying to me is travel, right? Traveling perhaps for love interest reasons or for pleasure, right? There's this part of the fifth house that is linked to love and romance, but there's also a big part of the fifth house that's linked to pleasure and recreation and our time off, right? So I think essentially this is about fun. This is about play. This for you is about wanting to go after your dreams and your aspirations and really just enjoying, right? Now, the other thing about it is all of this Capricorn, right? So you have this sixth house stellium. I mean, you've got Mars there and Venus, both in Capricorn. Of course, Mars is also exalted in this sign. So you are someone who is highly driven, highly ambitious. When it comes to your work and your services, you do not play around. And what I also want to mention with this is, right, you even said it yourself, right? The potential lessons. What's Capricorn? Capricorn is very much the sign of learning lessons, establishing oneself, seeing how, you can overcome obstacles and limitations. In fact, you are going through your Saturn return right now, right? So Saturn is there at 18 degrees. The Saturn return for you will not be at its fullest strength, not for another, I would say, year or so, maybe toward the end of the year. We need to really look at the exact dates and stuff like that. But to keep it a little bit more to the point here, I think that with your Saturn return occurring and how Saturn is in Pisces in the eighth house, there's a lot of stuff coming to the surface for you, right? I'm sure, Camille, this time period for you is so sensitive. And I think what's really important to keep in mind is that of being able to show yourself a great deal of compassion and empathy, and learning as well that your sensitivity is often your strength. And it may not feel like that, right? It may not feel like it so much now, or perhaps especially in the past. But I feel as if your Saturn return is going to be this huge awakening time, this time when you're going to shed, right? You're going to release, you're going to really let go of any false narratives, anything that's outdated when it comes to certain beliefs. And also, thinking about especially how we're in the middle of Pisces season right now. So we have this full moon in Virgo happening in the sky. The moon would be in your second house there, and then all of this Pisces energy would be in your eighth. You even have the secondary progressed Venus there in Pisces, and that's exalted. So I feel like this is representing just the profoundness of your depths right now, and how you are really shedding and you're releasing a lot of emotion. And I think it's important to go through that and to even show some type of empathy and compassion toward, what it is that you need in order to feel more secure and safe and well-rounded. This is very much a full moon where it's like, okay, mind, body, soul. This is about sinking into these more meditative states, or even being able to recognize any patterns that are not so healthy, that aren't actually good for you in the long run. And you even have to think about how we're coming up to the end of the astrological year. And so, with this Pisces energy being in your eighth house, it's intense, right? This is intense, this is profound, but it's also highly transformative. So, yeah, I think that your Saturn return is going to it's going to bring up a lot of emotion in this way for you, but it's also, I feel, a great time of healing, a great time to go within. It's also perhaps pointing toward, well, let's think about the sextiles, right? Let's think about how Mars in Capricorn is making that sextile to Saturn. Saturn, of course, is the dispositor of all that sixth house energy. So maybe, you're saying about potential lessons, right? Perhaps there are potential lessons here coming up for you to do with shared resources, to do with managing other people's money, this type of stuff. And it may kind of feel as if, when it comes to these things, there's all of these limitations and these obstacles to overcome. I mean, this is Capricorn energy for you. But I do feel as if with you, there is that drive, there is that work ethic, there is that determination. But it's slow steps, right? It's very much this slow process. And there's a great deal of patience as well in all of this. Now, on the other hand, Saturn is making a square to the moon. So you've got that moon in Sagittarius there. And with this particular square, it actually could be where it feels like there's some type of conflict or tension when it comes to your emotional needs, when it comes to your emotional security. So there's this sort of part of you, I think, that wants to kind of just jet off or run away, or perhaps a part of you that wants to escape and not have to deal with any sort of issues or problems or worries that you have. But with squares come the challenge and our ability to strengthen, our ability to grow. And here we see a potential lesson, this potential lesson to do with the strength and the resilience that you possess, a potential lesson to do with the knowledge and the wisdom that you have within yourself when it comes to the heavy stuff, when it comes to the really deep emotional stuff. Even Saturn there is within that moon deacon in the eighth house. And the moon, of course, tied to the emotions and our feelings and this type of stuff. Okay, let's also talk about for a moment how Pluto in Sagittarius is making that lovely trine, this trine to the ascendant, right? So you have the ascendant in Leo, right? So this to me highlights that you're someone who's very much in tune with your personal power. And okay, it may not necessarily feel like that because, of course, Saturn's also in the eighth house and teaching you many lessons about your personal power as well. But I think that even when it comes to how you show up in the world, right? How you present yourself to other people, how you enter into new situations, your life path, your aims, your ambitions, you give off this presence of, I've got this. I know who I am. I know myself at my core. I've seen it all. I've been there, done that. But then there's also this great deal of like, enthusiasm and courage and bravery. And I also think that you present this energy of filling up a room, just filling up a room with this brightness. And you're the type of person, I think, who can cheer other people up. You can support them through whatever they're going through. And you have so much to share with others. I think for you, a lot of what you really wish to do and what you feel good about doing is that of sharing what you know and what you believe, right? Sharing your beliefs, sharing the expertise that you have and the knowledge that you have gained throughout your life. So this fifth house year, right? So with you being 28, and this will continue throughout your 28th year, with this fifth house being activated, I think this is looking at all of the sharing and the wisdom and the truth telling, the truth seeking. And there's also this feel good, this feel good energy with all of this, right? Because the sun is in Sagittarius there, and the sun would be your chart ruler. So whenever you are around people where, there's a sense of pleasure and enjoyment and you feel alive, even when it comes to certain lovers and people that you're dating, etc., and they present these adventurous, free-spirited qualities, um, you you really just come to life. Like, you feel so full within those relationships. Okay, Camille, so that was yours. If I come out, that was the timer. I really hope you find it to be helpful. Let me see. Thank you so much, Camille. Thank you. All right. Let me see. I'm just reading through just to make sure. Hello to Raymond. Welcome to the readings. KP's next, but you're not here. You didn't let me know your information. Okay. Let's see. KP, I will refund you. If you're not here, you will be refunded. All right. Right. Amani, we're moving on to yours next. Thank you so much, Camille. Excuse me. Let's see. Yep. Oh, cool. Bree, say your birthday is on the 8th of August. Cool. So you've got your sun in Leo. That's awesome. It's like in exact opposition, I think. Is it? That's really cool. Okay, so Amani, so I have for you New York. Let me just get need my calculator. Okay, cool. Career money in the next coming weeks. Okay, you want to know about weeks. All right. Let me have a look. Oh, that's so interesting. Okay, let me see. All right. And then we need here. Okay. So I'm just having a look. I'm just having a look quickly, and then we'll get into yours, Amani. Nine. Yeah. We have third. Let me even go back and check. Here. Okay. All right, so we're going to set the timer. Yeah. Yes. Jupiter. Mercury. Venus. Mm-hmm. Moon. Okay, yeah. The sun, yeah. Venus. Ooh, the ascendant. Interesting. Okay. Venus. And what degree? What degree? 7. Okay, we're gonna start yours now. Sorry, I needed a little moment to look through certain timing techniques. So we're gonna set the timer then for you, Imani. Let me just see. Okay. All right, so setting the timer, let's go. Right, so what I wanted to do first of all is I really just wanted to see, you're saying about these leaving your job not too long ago, which what really jumped out at me, so as you can see here from your chart is I have presented your chart and then I've also put the transits in green around the outer way. And what's pretty interesting about this is the fact that you have Uranus retrograde in the 6th house in Aquarius, okay? And at the same time, so of course, just to confirm, 6th house stuff, work. So with Venus, right, you think about where Venus is right now in the sky, Venus and Mars have been making this conjunction with Uranus retrograde in your 6th house. Uranus can look at unexpected changes and shifts, but then Venus can look at our resources, how we earn money. So there is something quite interesting in that, isn't there? To kind of think about the unexpected part of it, but also just the whole thing of, you're breaking away from a particular role, you're leaving a particular role. And the other thing I wanted to mention is the fact that in your solar return chart, I just wanted to have a little sneak peek at it, is the fact that in the solar return chart, so Venus is retrograde in that particular solar return chart because we had that Venus retrograde in Leo over the summer. So Venus retrogrades in the chart can indicate at times, that there is a delay when it comes to resources and money in this way. But we want to also then further look at how, for one, Venus is going to continue to move, right? So it's going to continue to move through the sign of Aquarius over the next coming weeks. And then, of course, it will enter Pisces within the next coming weeks. Mars is also going to follow suit. You've got Jupiter, right? So Jupiter expansion, opportunity, right? Jupiter's like the door. Jupiter opens doors, if you will. And it says, hey, this is an opportunity. Hey, this is a way so that you can grow and you can expand. Have you ever thought of it this way? And so Venus and Mars are both going to eventually, over the next coming weeks, conjunct Jupiter for you. Conjunct that Jupiter part of the chart in the sixth house. This could be, for instance, you basically finding a job opportunity, or it could be that somebody literally comes to you and offers you a position because they see that you have the skills, right? You qualify in this regard. I mean, Jupiter looks at higher education, and I think that with it being in the sixth house in this position, it shows that when it comes to the work that you do, that there's plenty that you know basically about it, and perhaps your work is somehow related to the likes of social work or something health related, service, even thinking about how you need to travel for work, or thinking about education, teaching in this way, mentoring, community work, just helping others as well, or technology. Technology could be a big part of this. But here's another thing that I also wanted to mention is the fact that, so you've got Mars in Libra as well. And it's in the second house. So the second house can actually look at how we earn money, how we spend it, how we save it, stuff like this. So to have Mars in Libra in the second, this suggests to me that the rules that you take on and how you make money are related to leadership, right? Or being in a position where you can, be an authority, or where you can give some type of direction. Of course, there is also the opposition to Saturn, so there could be power struggles even with certain members of authority. There could be that resistance there, or that kind of struggle. They're actually opposite by the same degree. Your Saturn return will be coming up over the next few years as well for you, Imani. So I think that is worth paying attention to, because what we see here is that it's this whole thing of your rules on your time. It's more about leadership and what you want. And I can't help but feel as if, especially with the eclipses and how the North Node right now is in Aries and South Node is in Libra, activating the 8th and the 2nd houses for you, there is a lot coming up here to do with investments and your efforts and where you place your time, where you really get so much from what you do professionally. So yeah, there could be some challenge in this way, but the Libra part of it also signifies or suggests to me that you are really well-rounded and balanced, and you think carefully about things as well. And let's not forget that you are so Virgo dominant, right? So you have Mercury there, exalted, home in Virgo. You have Venus there. Yes, Venus is in full in Virgo, but still, Venus is in Virgo in the first house, the Virgo rising. You've got the North Node as well. So I just think that when it comes to you, you are so dedicated. Let's even think about how the full moon right now is happening right on your Venus. It is right there. What's Venus? Resources, materials, money, earnings, all this stuff. Virgo is service, work, organization, scheduling, seeing what systems work well, how things operate well, but also seeing which ones do not operate so well. So this is a good day, a good time, next couple of days, to review, to evaluate, to really go over the systems and the strategies for you and what it is that you want, right? What your aims are, what your goals are, what the next step is for you. So this is also about a little bit of evaluation too, right? It's not just kind of, expecting something just to automatically fall in your lap. It's also about being proactive. And I feel as if, of course, you know this very well. And you even have Moon in Taurus. Oh my gosh, so much Earth, right? You've got the rising in Virgo, you've got Venus and Mercury there, then you've got Moon exalted there in Taurus, and also making that trine to the ascendant. So I do think that this is suggesting that you really show quality and value through what you offer, through the knowledge that you share, through the wisdom as well that you gain. I think that when it comes to higher learning, you can indeed take it seriously whenever you really see that there's a benefit, that there's an incentive, that there's some type of reward, right? Even the moon is within that Saturn decan, and that can look at longevity, okay? Plus, we're going to experience the Uranus Jupiter conjunction, which is going to happen April 2024, and that's going to be close, sort of close by. I wouldn't say it's huge, to the moon, but it's close by, there to your moon. And so, even with it being in the Saturn decan, that could be quite eye-opening for you in terms of opportunity, right? Growth and opportunity related to the likes of publishing, media, how it is that you even show yourself to the world in this way, how you share. And perhaps there's even going to be a huge switch with respect to your beliefs and even what your values are with respect to your belief systems too. And what I also wanted to mention, so like I said, there's the Mars energy in Libra, but when we also look at progressions, the secondary progressions, we notice that the secondary progressed ascendant is in Libra, and that is getting closer and closer to Mars, right? So what does this signify, right? The secondary progressed ascendant can show us how our life path is evolving, how it's progressing, how it's sort of changing. Yes, the original ascendant is still important. It's still a part of us, if you will. But with you here, Imani, this is about what you're really how your life is changing in terms of its trajectory is that of, okay, how can we join together? Partnership. How can we collaborate? What about the business deals? How can we make effective business deals for long-term success? Right? This is also about the steps that you put in place and the action plan, right? With Mars there. So I feel as if your finances, your money, your earnings, right? This is the second house arena. These things are going to shift and change where you can say, oh, right, okay, so this is the next part of it. This is the next plan. And the Mars part of it, I think, is going to highlight how this next step for you, this next stage for you, is going to really include the likes of leadership. Could be like an advisory role or a super, like an officer role, where you are basically assisting other people, or it could be related to that of mediation or contracts, agreements, making sure that there is some type of solid plan in place, maybe working with professionals, working with people within, who have expertise. Even with the opposition then to Saturn, perhaps this is part of the Saturn return story for you that is going to occur, right, within the next couple of years for you, right? As I was saying previously. So I think in this way, it does appear as if there are a few indicators of change up ahead for you, Imani. And even the secondary progressed Venus has also, it's a timer, it's also there in Libra. And like I said, Venus can look at our money and our earnings and even our spending habits. So that influence with the trine to Uranus, that could be where there's a great deal of innovation on your part. New approaches, new strategies. So yes, that was yours, Imani. Interesting. You love to be remote. See, that is interesting. With that midheaven in Gemini as well, that's an area that I didn't get to touch on. But yeah, that midheaven in Gemini and that flexibility too. That's interesting. And I'm sorry to hear that you have felt so burnt out. We even see that with that opposition between Saturn and Mars. And I do think your Saturn return it's gonna be really eye-opening for you. So I would say that over the next couple of years, especially, things will really change for you. So I wish you the very best with everything. Thank you for booking. Okay, so Erica next. Let's see. Hello, is it Cornelia? So we are fully booked this evening. Yes, I will be doing this again, openings. And just keep your eyes peeled. Just make sure that you subscribe, of course, subscribe to the channel. By subscribing, you'll be able to, and also click the notification bell. You can be notified then, and then you can see it pop up And as soon as it pops up, it is a first come, first serve because a few people did book this morning. So I was like, wow, okay, some people booked in. So you just go through it, read through the instructions. It's pretty straightforward. You just send over the amount to my PayPal. There will be a link included, but you do need to put your time of birth, date of birth, and your place of birth as well. Thank you so much, Imani. Yeah, so Erica, let's go. Oh, so you have a question as well. Let me see. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Erica. We will explore those areas for you. Also, to confirm, everyone, these are 10-minute readings. You're not going to get as, in depth, in detail, let's just say. But if you would like to book a proper, yes, like a longer reading where we can go into more depth, you can always go to hannahselsewhere.com and you can book over there. Okay. Hi, Gibson. Welcome. Hi. And also, hello to Adventuring. Welcome. And no problem, Cornelia. Just keep your eyes peeled, and I'm sure we'll be back for another round. All right, let me see. I need to share my screen for Erica. Hello, GMA. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to take a moment, Erica, to explore these timings, okay? So I'll just be a moment. Oh, I'm kicking things. Okay. Imani, for to continue, if you want more of a look into upcoming events, what's going on now, looking at transits, even secondary progressions, you can book the What's Going On Now reading. And then also, even if you just have questions about your chart, there's always the So Then Who Are You reading. That seems to be quite a popular one, because you can really, with any reading, you can ask questions, but the So Then Who Are You just means, okay, there's some questions and areas, and then I do still look at certain timing tools and stuff, but with all readings really, but the What's Going On Now reading is more like really focused on, okay, this is the chart, and these are the events that we're going to really look at here. So, and Erica, I'm still looking through yours. I'm seeing a few interesting connections here. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. 11. Solar return. Solar return. Okay. 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 Interesting. Yeah. When? Sag season. From Pisces season. Pisces, yeah. Progressions. Moon. Okay. Right. So after a look, let's do this. Let's do this, Erica. I'm going to set the timer now. Okay. All right, Erica. I wanted to actually start off by exploring your solar return chart. And I know it's not presented on here. This chart that I'm showing involves transits. But looking at the solar return chart, right? For the year, you have Mercury and Venus both in Sagittarius in the 5th house. And when we look to your natal chart, you have Sagittarius in the 7th house. The 7th house looks at long-term relationships. It looks at the likes of marriage. And with then the 5th house, so Mercury and Venus are in Sagittarius in the 5th house in the solar return chart, the 5th house looks at love, romance, dating, this type of stuff. You kind of imagine the 5th house is like the start of a relationship, okay? Those more beginning stages. And then the 7th house is more about, okay, well, we've established a commitment. And then you get to the 8th house and it's really seeing someone for who they are, right? You really start to see their emotions and everything come out. So I think that this 5th house part of it for you indicates that this year could be quite a new sort of exciting year with respect to meeting someone new, right? Thinking about establishing a new relationship. But what the kind of, I think the beautiful thing about this, if you will, is the fact that the type of person that you will attract will showcase these qualities that align with your 7th house area. And so, what are these qualities? Things like independence, okay? Someone who is free spirited, someone who is full of knowledge, full of life, full of enthusiasm, someone who keeps you guessing, okay? Someone who wants to go on adventures together, And we also want to mention, of course, that Venus being in this fifth house, right? Venus is said to experience its joy in the fifth house, and the fifth house looks at pleasure. So I just can't help but think that this is a year where it is about you. Okay, there's this sort of seeking quality, or there's this appealing quality, this attractive quality when it comes to your love life in this regard. So that's an interesting one. And even looking at the solar return chart a little bit more, you'll have the Aquarius energy in the seventh along with the moon. Okay. The moon there in the seventh can really look at more of an emotional connection, an emotional bond in this way. Yes, okay, sure. Moon in Aquarius can often be seen as being somewhat more objective or a little bit more emotionally detached in this way, but that is not necessarily always a bad thing. And maybe it is a little bit about, okay, um, more so attracting someone perhaps in a long-term way who is somewhat more intellectual and just someone who can keep you mentally stimulated, I suppose. But this, I think, can be quite interesting for you because here's the thing. Here is the thing. Oh my gosh. So, in your natal chart, you have Jupiter retrograde in Gemini, and you also have the ascendant in Gemini. So, this moon energy in Aquarius, that in a way creates this trine to Jupiter in Gemini. Jupiter can actually it can point toward the husband, okay, in astrology. So I'm just sort of thinking, is it that, this year could be the year where there is an opening, if you will, or an opportunity or some type of growth when it comes to long-term committed relationships? And with the Gemini part of it, you are someone who can be quite intellectual yourself, full of information, sharing perhaps constantly, and just wanting to engage and wanting to talk about really meaningful in-depth topics, but also at the same time being somewhat lighthearted, right? Trying not to take it all super, super seriously. Even Jupiter is opposite Mercury there in the chart. Mercury is the chart ruler. So, I think there is that appeal when it comes to the mind and to the intellect. But I think at the same time, here is where we're noticing a little bit of resistance, right? A bit of a tension, a struggle. I think that you also don't like know-it-alls. You also don't like people who are preachy, partners who are too preachy, who are too high and mighty, right? Partners who are too judgmental, or just sort of all talk and talk and talk, but there's no real follow through. And let's not forget, your sun is in Capricorn, all right? You've got Venus in Capricorn. So you mean business. When it comes to love, when it comes to relationships, what you really do value is that of commitment and integrity, and you can see through the BS, Erica. Okay, especially with this energy in the eighth house, it says, no, 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 no. Why should I trust you so quickly? No, it's like we need to take our time on this. Let's build together. Let's see what we can create together. So we're talking about all of this more like lighthearted and easy breezy sort of energy, which it's still a part of you, but there is another part of you that's like, okay, well, when we really get down to it, like I need to know that you're serious and you're honest, right? And there's a sense of integrity in this, and looking at the responsibilities that a relationship holds, that it involves. Now, I do sort of wonder, when we think about the transits, I wonder to myself with Pluto. So Pluto being in Capricorn for the past 15 years, of course, Pluto has entered Aquarius. It will be there up until September. There will be that retrograde back into Capricorn at 29 degrees from September until October. But for those years, right, the kind of 15-year period, Pluto was transiting the eighth house for you. And I kind of wonder, is it that around, I would say, maybe 4 years ago? Is it that you experienced a separation, a divorce, or is it that you shed old skin when it came to relationships and you really took a good hard look at like what you want and what you value and what you need when it comes to relationships for the long haul? So there is that. And I think that was a way for you to really get right with, okay, how do I feel about all of this? And maybe too, a lot has been shed and transformed when it comes to the whole shared resource stuff. Okay, how it is that you collaborate with others or share with others in terms of your resources, looking at the kind of shared spending habits that you have and stuff like this. So I think when it comes to committed relationships and love and everything, what you really are seeking is someone who is able to be mature and responsible with their finances. But here's another thing I want to mention for you. Jupiter is going to enter Gemini come June 2024. What's up ahead for you? Your Jupiter return. Okay, sure, Jupiter is way at the end there for you at 28 degrees. So the return for you will not be as, I suppose, as potent until for another year, basically from June onwards. But Jupiter will still be transiting that first house for you. And what this is going to suggest to me is that there is a greater emphasis on exploration and trying new things, questioning, questing, doing things that are outside of your comfort zone. And maybe in this regard, there could be a lot of change and growth when it comes to, yes, relationships, but also just your life path overall and your aims and your ambitions. Plus, Jupiter will start to trine the North Node. Ah, it will start to trine the North Node in Libra in the fifth house of romance and love. You've got Pluto also there, so there will also be that trine. So who knows, that influence, I would say, the next 6 months after. So June, Jupiter will enter Gemini June, and then maybe I would say about 4 to 5 months after that, this is when the North Node activation is going to be felt. And so, of course, just confirm, we could confirm those dates or just look into those dates, basically, Erica. But that, I think, is going to be quite a good opportunity for you to see, oh, well, partnership, relationships, a big focus on these areas for you. And let's even not forget the eclipses, right? The eclipses are happening here. I'm pretty sure there's going to be an eclipse near that 10-9 degree point, the 10th or the 9th degree. So the eclipse is happening in the 5th, 11th house axis for you. It's like, okay, big relationship territory, significant shifts when it comes to relationships in this way. But with the North Node being in Aries, right? You've got the North Node in Libra, so you're actually going through a nodal opposition right now. The North Node is in Aries is reminding you, Erica, that this is also about you being able to stand for truth, being able to stand up for yourself, being able to know what it is that you want, all right, and being somewhat more of a leader. And how fitting as well, just to finish this off, 46, this means the 11th house is activated for you. So the way I'm sort of looking at this is this 46th year for you is really about just exploring when it comes to groups and clubs and communities, and who knows the types of people you are going to be introduced to and the people you're going to meet. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so that's yours, Erica. Thank you. Let me see. Hello, Abigail. Oh, awesome. Yes, you should join. I'm sure we'll be doing this again. Whew. Okay, so Olivia, we're moving on to Olivia's chart next. Thank you, Erica. I hope you find it to be helpful. We have, just to confirm, we have Olivia, then, yeah, next time, then Nicole, and then we have Claire, and then we have Bushra, and then we have Fran. So Fran is going last. Okay, Olivia. 3. Okay. So I'm just going to grab your chart here, Olivia. Let's see. Yes. Got it. Brilliant. Okay. Thank you. Um, and go to, yeah. And thank you so much, Erica. Thank you for booking today. I hope you find it to be helpful. All right, so I'm just getting some timing techniques for you, Olivia, but I'm going to display the chart on the screen. Go. Okay, let's see. Why are you not showing me? Select another name. Okay. Let me see. Will you let me show this one? Right. Yep. Olivia, let me see. Yeah. Huh. Oh, right. Okay. That's okay. Go to. Just give me a moment. Sorry, Olivia. I'm just trying to get some timing techniques here to help me out. Thank you for your patience. Right. So go. Now we can go back. All right, have a look. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Okay. So that was bum. Yep. Yeah, got that. Yeah. solar return. Okay, so we have transits. Yes. And then we have progressions. Okay, let's see. So, focus, natural way to build friendships and relationships. You've moved to a new country. You've moved to France. Okay. Yeah. All right. So we're going to set the timer for you. Let's just make sure I have everything I need. Yep. Yep. Mars, Mercury, yeah. It's transits. Okay, yeah. And then, yeah. Okay. All right, so we're going to set the timer. Okay. Right. So first things first, what I wanted to do, Olivia, is I wanted to actually look at relocational astrology. I wanted to look at your astrocartography. I wanted to see, is there any significant line or influence running through France? And when we look to your chart, we noticed that the Pluto descendant line is actually running through France. So, what is Pluto, right? So, Pluto can look at the whole obvious thing with Pluto is transformation. And this transformation is really, in your case, right? We got to relate this transformation or these transformations to you. In your case, a lot of this is tied to exploring things that are outside of your comfort zone, exploring things which are not familiar, okay? This could literally look like that of travel, right? This completely different landscape, new people, new ways of life, new belief systems, different, very different. And the reason why I'm saying this is because when we look to your individual chart, Pluto is actually in Sagittarius in the seventh house, and you also have Jupiter there in Sagittarius in the seventh house, along with Venus. So I think for you, there's this love for exploration, there's this love for travel. But like I said, with the Pluto line running through France for you, I think that this could be very eye-opening. Now, can it also suggest power struggles? Can it also suggest fears and having to work through those fears? Yes. And what this can also suggest is that this is about you really looking into the psyche. You're trying to dig deep a little bit into, why is it that there are certain fears, or what is it about certain experiences that you face whilst you're in France? What is it about those experiences? Why is it that they, maybe they play on your mind? Or is it that there is some type of, maybe for example, let's say, there could be like a homesickness, or there could be like these feelings of restlessness, or there could be these feelings of, oh, I don't know if I belong here. Will this work out? Now, the reason why I'm also bringing this up is because we also want to explore the ninth house, right? Because the ninth house actually does look at travel. And I would consider moving from London to France as a long distance thing. Okay. And you have the Sun, Mercury retrograde, and also the midheaven all in Aquarius in the ninth house. It's so fascinating to me that, you're asking about friendships, right? Relationships, and, really wanting to focus on them and to build these friendships and relationships. And as this Aquarius dominant person, Aquarius is the sign that cares about community, that cares about belonging, and cares about friendship, right? So that togetherness feel that is created. And so I think that you're someone who you are excited by these new experiences. I actually think that you're someone who is so fascinated by travel in general. I mean, when we do look at the astrocartography, there are so many lines that run through so many different interesting places and countries there. So I just think that there is this never ending fascination, this curiosity that you possess. So you actually have the chart ruler, which is Mercury, and it's retrograde in Aquarius there. So the ascendant then is in Gemini. So kind of going back to what I was saying earlier in terms of, these restless feelings, even these nervous feelings, possible tensions, with the Pluto energy as well, with these possible sort of like fears. I think that the Aquarius influence here is just suggesting the overthinking. It's suggesting the worry. It's suggesting this awkwardness, and will I fit in, and will I get along with people, and will people think I'm unusual? Will they think I'm strange? So I think this is, when I think about this practically, in a really practical, realistic view, by that sort of view, these feelings that you have and these questions that you have are so normal, right? They're so normal. And so I think that as Mars and Venus, right? So they are currently in Aquarius right now. As they start to really travel through the rest of your ninth house and they start to conjunct the Sun and Mercury retrograde and everything, I think that this is going to perhaps welcome some type of opening or some type of change, or being assertive, even even looking at attracting new people, or being assertive when it comes to introducing yourself to people. I just think the Mercury retrograde part of it can maybe suggest that, like, you read a lot into it, maybe too much in a way, or maybe it can be where you're overwhelmed, right? Overwhelmed by the many sort of rapid thoughts that come in. But what I also want to just remind you of, or make you aware of, is you are experiencing this secondary progressed Aries moon time period, right? So the secondary progressed moon is in Aries in the 11th house for you. And the 11th house, of course, looks at community, it looks at teams and groups and the masses and everything, clubs that we join. So you are being a leader, like you're doing it, right? The fact that you move from one country to another country, I mean, that is daring, that is brave, that is bold, that is adventurous, right? So I just think that this phase that you're going through, this part of your life, this stage of your life, is very much about adventure and going for it. And the fascinating thing about it is the fact that, the secondary progressive moon making trines to Pluto and Jupiter, and then eventually will make a trine to Venus over the next year or so. So this is just exciting. To me, this is exciting energy. There's a buzz to this. There's vibrancy, there's fun, there's enjoyment. This is enthusiastic energy, I think, and meeting just like-minded people, but also meeting people who are so different in their views and their ways of seeing things. And you are receptive, I think. That secondary progressment in Aries is like, I'm receptive to these changes because I'm like, I want to learn. Like, I want to grow. I want to see what other people have to tell me about me and my way of doing things. So there is this sense of welcoming the new. Now, at the same time, you do have this Gemini rising, right? So the Gemini rising part of you is very much about curiosity, and you're willing to learn. You're eager to learn new things. And you know what? With Mercury being in Aquarius, it's like, the weirder, the more different, the more unusual, the more spectacular, the better. The better, the better, And I just think that you have this thing about you that you want to really explore other people's minds and why they think the things that they do, right? This travel, this relocation opportunity, I wonder, it could be that it's related to work, right? Because we notice with the Jupiter energy, Venus as well, I'm looking at earnings and spending. It could be that it's related to work, and you've got Jupiter and Venus and Sagittarius there, and then the whole long distance travel stuff. Or it could be that it's related to university or some sort of higher educational program or advanced training or getting a certain qualification. And maybe that qualification is somehow tied to technology, media, data, research, science, social work, this type of stuff, community work. So there is that. But whatever the case may be, I just think, when it comes to this whole question of building upon, friendships and relationships and stuff like this, I think that this move is going to be highly transformative indeed for you. And I think that there is that willingness, that eagerness with the secondary progressed moon in Aries as well. And what I also want to mention is the fact that with you being 29, this stood out to me. You're 29. So throughout your 29th year, the sixth house is activated, and you have the North Node in Scorpio, actually. Very fitting, again, when we consider with the line, the Pluto line that runs through France for you, and how Pluto, of course, does rule Scorpio. So you have this North Node influence in Scorpio saying, hey, when it comes to work, there is some type of transformation happening. And what this can also suggest is that there's there is a, like I said, with the fear stuff, or maybe having to address any power struggles or sort of power issues that you can sense within yourself, or maybe even seeing how it is that you can come from a place of recognizing your personal power. That's another thing. It could really be that it's through your line of work, and it's even through your daily routines and schedules, which I'm sure are so different right now for you. It's seeing how these things are really gonna just welcome a whole other side of you, a whole other way of viewing life, appreciating yourself. Plus, just that's the timer. Plus, I just want to finish off this by saying you've got your moon in Pisces. I mean, that moon in Pisces energy is so incredibly open and receptive and sensitive and emotional and caring and thoughtful. So I think that within itself just shows that when it comes to the whole stuff to do with friendships and relationships and everything, you are someone who does deeply, deeply care, and that shines through. People can sense just how genuine you are, Olivia. Okay. Yay, I'm glad. I'm glad, Olivia, that it resonated. I hope that you find it to be helpful. Teresa, Teresa, just to say here that in order to book a reading, you do, so the way it usually works is that you follow the instructions. We are fully booked this evening, but the instructions will be there for the future. You just send over the money to PayPal, and you need to let me know your time of birth, date of birth, place of birth, and keep your eyes peeled. Just make sure to subscribe and become notified as to when I will be on next. Olivia, you said that you moved by yourself. Okay, interesting. And that you work as a freelance writer, so you can live anywhere. Oh, amazing. You've got a travel bug. See, that's so interesting. So many lines through your astrocartography. It's, oh, how exciting. And it's so fitting, right? Because I mean, you've got Jupiter in Sagittarius, Venus in Sagittarius. You are a wanderer, a jet setter. I wish you all the best, Olivia. Okay, so we're going to move on to Nicole next. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Is Nicole in the audience? Oh, yes, there you are. So let's see. Hello to Captain Ron. Welcome to you. Welcome. Nicole, so you want to know about career and money insights. All right. Moon and North Node. Reassurance. Okay. Let's have a look. Thank you so much for being here this evening, everyone. And okay, 11. I'm just going to show your chart. There we go. And I'm just taking a moment to look through timing techniques. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Um, 2025. Yeah, let's go back one. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, interesting. Okay, so we're going to start the timer then for you, Nicole. Oh, sorry. All right, so Nicole, the first thing that actually stood out to me when it comes to transits is the fact that, okay, so you have this Pisces rising at 0 degrees. That's a pretty potent, powerful degree to have. And so with this being in Pisces, this archetype can be part of this world, but also not part of this world. Okay. And so when it comes to you, it's like you can have these moments, these times whenever you're more practical, whenever it's more about every day and getting through certain tasks and responsibilities. I mean, also your sun is in Virgo, Mars is also in Virgo. So this further adds to what I'm saying here. But you can also experience these times when it's more about solitude, right? It's more about relaxation, being able to switch off, not necessarily engaging with the outside world. So what I find, first of all, is what I find interesting is the fact that, you were saying about the North Node and the moon being in the 12th house and, you know, reassurance in this regard. I just think that what this is suggesting to me is that, you're someone you're a very sensitive person, right? And you feel very, very deeply about people and situations and just the ways of the world, the woes of the world. And I think that emotion and that depth and that sensitivity, that could very well be placed into some type of, a profession or into a way of maybe helping others, serving others, right? The North Node in Aquarius could perhaps look at you more so directing your energy toward that of service and humanity, thinking about how Aquarius is this humanitarian sign. But a lot of this, I think, is linked to your own emotional depths and just how much you do care about, wanting to see the world as much better, and as well, perhaps working a large deal or a great deal behind the scenes, right? Within solitude. Even the moon is within that Mercury deacon, right? And Mercury would be the dispositor of the Virgo for you. So there is something about doing detailed work, or maybe there's something even about being able to draw bigger themes and bigger connections within the work that you do. Even the moon is making that trine to Mercury retrograde in Libra in the 8th house. So analysis, research, investigation, putting your skills with relation to your intellect, your mind, your intelligence, putting them to good use, being able to apply what you learn and being able to as well present what you learn to certain partners, thinking about business, for instance, thinking about certain jobs in this way, right? With the Virgo energy in the 7th, thinking about collaboration, right? Maybe you're deeply interested in wanting to really, join forces with others, but it's more about, okay, this is the plan, this is the system, this is what needs to be done, and being efficient and being productive as well. But back to the Pisces energy. So, like I said, there is the Pisces energy at 0 degrees. This is significant because we have here this full moon in Virgo right now. It's at 5 degrees. But then this means that you've got the Sun, Saturn, and Mercury all there in your first house. And the first house can look at our aims, our goals, our ambitions, our life path. It's sort of like this house where we can very well change our trajectory depending on, what sort of influences enter that house. And so I can't help but feel as if there is a type of release or a shedding taking place when it comes to you in terms of, okay, what do I want out of life? What are my aims? What are my goals? But you even have to further this by looking at Mars, because Mars within itself is this planet that's about setting goals and intentions and going for things. So you have this dedication, you have this drive to you. And you're also very detail orientated throughout the process. And you can pick up on, what isn't being said, what isn't being monitored, how the systems operate and function, and seeing what can be changed, how things can be improved. So think about this energy that I talk about and apply it to the likes of business, entrepreneurship, partnership, negotiation, looking at certain projects. I mean, maybe project management is a area that you're really, really deeply interested in, or that you've sort of worked within. But you see, here's the other thing about it. Like I said, the full moon is happening in Virgo. And so that's happening in the 7th house for you. So there does seem to be this release when it comes to these areas that I previously mentioned. It is interesting to think that you asked about career in this way, but here's the other part of it is the moon is making that trine then to Saturn right now in your chart, right? And with you being 34 years old, Nicole, your 11th house is activated. So this is this 11th house year for you. So this means that when it comes to the likes of companies, organizations, institutions, these sort of bigger themes related to career, they are coming up for you really strongly. But with the moon right now making the trine to Saturn, there's also a great deal of release, like I said, right? This is about shedding. This is about a reset. This is about saying, hey, this is not working. This is not what I want. This is not the thing that I foresee when it comes to my future. Even the 11th house looks at our hopes and our wishes for the future and what we really strive for. And I think what you strive for, Nicole, is respect, integrity, to be a respectable member within your community, to be recognized as someone within the company or organization you're a part of, or the team that you're a part of. And also at the same time, with Neptune being a part of this, it's still coming across as really understanding and empathetic too. That is also a big part of your strength here, right? Neptune as well is one of the chart rulers, right? Because Neptune is the modern day ruler of Pisces. So we could see some type of significant changes and shifts coming up for you throughout your 34th year when it comes to these areas that we talk about. So there could be those changes. But the other thing that I want to mention is the fact that you also have Uranus there in Capricorn, and of course you've got Jupiter opposing Saturn. So Jupiter, of course, being the other chart ruler for you, it's the traditional ruler of Pisces. I can't help but think that what's really coming up for you are these sort of dramatic changes to do with family, to do with belonging, to do with your security. This is about your inner security. It's also about your physical security. But I think perhaps this is also about being able to provide for family, being able to provide for children if you have any children, or even addressing certain struggles or challenges with respect to children too, because even Chiron is there in the 5th house. And, Chiron in Cancer can look at some type of wound when it comes to family or children, or even thinking about, this whole notion of what really serves a purpose in your life and what fuels you up and what gets you excited and what makes you happy. And how do you wish to sort of share, your views and your perspectives? How do you wish to be known for in this way? I think there are big questions for you when it comes to purpose. And the reason why I say this is because Saturn is in Capricorn, but that purpose, I feel, is strongly linked to that of the likes of group involvements, perhaps hosting events, even thinking about how you can be somewhat hospitable, right? Even possibly charitable, to get out into your community and make a difference, make a change. But where does this take us back to, though? This is the thing. This takes us back to the moon, right? Because the moon rules Cancer. It's the dispositor of your Jupiter. So the moon is in Aquarius. And what else is there? The North Node. The North Node looks at our trajectory. It looks at our life path. It looks at where we're headed, right? But you got to think about it too in terms of the South Node as well. The South Node shows us our comfort zone. It shows us talents and skills that we have accumulated, our unconscious. It also looks at, where we can burn out. So maybe for you, it's saying, where are you maybe burnt out when it comes to work, when it comes to leadership roles with respect to work, or even looking at the services that you provide and what's no longer perhaps filling you up or making you satisfied. Or maybe this is saying, actually, you're really good at inspiring others. You're really good at encouraging the team, encouraging others with your leadership skills. And what you can also do then is bring this stuff, bring the enthusiasm, bring the liveliness, bring your individuality and apply it then to that of, maybe helping people who are in need, or helping people who are maybe struggling in their lives, thinking about people who are struggling with their mental health, for instance, thinking about people who are struggling emotionally, right? Even especially with the moon, again, being there, right, in Aquarius. So that's us. But yes, I hope in this way, Nicole, that perhaps you can get what I'm getting to. But just, I know that you also did, you mentioned about with the financial side of it. Just to finish this off, you do also have Venus in Scorpio. So I do see this as you perhaps being very good at managing other people's resources, and perhaps even taking on a higher educational program to do with the likes of banking or other people's resources, or even debts or taxes, this type of stuff, collecting these things. So let's even think about how Venus is making that trine to Jupiter. So there could be that there is some financial prospects in that of the whole, like I said, going back to support, going back to care and healing and being hospitable, being there for family and so on. Okay, so that was for you. Nicole, I hope you find it to be helpful. Um, Yay, okay. Great. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I hope that you find it to be useful, and I hope that I was able to reassure you a little bit. The 12th house is not a house to fear. Thank you so much, Nicole. Okay, so Claire, next. Yep, yep, yep. Okay. Okay. Is Claire in the audience? Thank you so much, Nicole. And Gibson, thank you so much. Thank you. Is Claire in the audience? I'm just wondering in case, maybe you have a question or anything, but that is completely fine. We can just dive straight in to your chart and explore it and see what we can find. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Hi, Claire. So we're on to you now. And I was just wondering, do you have anything you want to ask? Because everybody else has been asking something here and there, and I'm just wondering, do you have anything you want to know about? Thank you so much, Gibson. Thank you for your lovely feedback. Or if you're okay, Claire, with me just going reading the chart, go for that. Actually, let me see the times. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to set the timer. Let's check. Yes. Yeah. Oh, go back one. Go back one. Okay. All right, so Claire, I feel as if to really start this chart reading, I feel like I need to be rather sensitive. Reason why I'm saying this is because you're 51. This means that the fourth house is being activated for you throughout this year. And you have Scorpio in the fourth house, right? And with this Scorpio energy in the fourth house, you've also got the IC in Scorpio. It can suggest that what you are experiencing, what you have been experiencing throughout your 51st year, is that of just a lot of real big, deep emotions with respect to family, heritage, home, belonging. Property could be a big part of this. Significant moves, relocating, for instance, could be a big part of this. But we also want to add to this because the thing is that I was curious. I wanted to explore the solar return chart a little bit, and I wanted to see, what's maybe coming up for you throughout this year based on the solar return. So you're actually also experiencing this Scorpio rising year, right? So that is significant because that's then linked to the family stuff. So to me, it just seems like there are significant shifts happening for you when it comes to your life path, and going through this sort of death and rebirth and experiencing these major renewals and these major transitions here. So this is why I wanted to say, to be a bit sensitive, because perhaps such changes have been pretty challenging, or a lot to take on, a lot to process. But we also want to explore more about this, don't we? We want to kind of think about, first of all, how, okay, you've got Mars, which would be the traditional ruler of Scorpio. You've got Mars there in Leo, and Mercury retrograde is also in Leo. You're actually Leo dominant, right? So you were born during Leo season along with that Leo rising. So you're someone who, like, how to stand up for yourself. You know how to be somewhat direct in terms of what you want. Now, of course, with the Mercury retrograde, it could be that growing up, this perhaps was not so much the case, right? Maybe there was more of a need to want to reflect, or to really process things, to really figure out, like, what is the next step? What do I want with my life? How can I move forward? But of course, the secondary progressed Mercury, that, as I hope you can see from the chart, that is all the way in Virgo, coming toward the end of it. We also notice how the secondary progressed Mars is also all the way into Virgo. So to me, what this is suggesting is that for a large portion of your life, it's been so much about, okay, dedication when it comes to your earnings, your work, and your finances, and really making sure that you have every possible thing that you could need. And I think as well, where you've really been evolving and growing as a person, is that of seeing, okay, these are the details. This is the research that's needed. This is the the way things operate and how they function, even on a very just practical level, on a very mundane everyday level, maybe where you feel actually really calm and settled and safe, is within those moments of routine. And how do we say, patterns, like routines, patterns, habits, right? To have some type of habit, to have something that uh, is ongoing and it's consistent, right? Because the reason why I'm saying this is because we see all those secondary progressed Virgo planets, and they're in this Venus deacon within Virgo, and so there really is a beauty. There's a joy. There's a pleasure in the everyday, but it's not about overcomplicating things. Of course, Virgo can overcomplicate things at times and be picky and critical and everything else. But I think for you, it's trying to get to a place of, feeling content and feeling good about yourself, feeling good from within. The second house can also look at self-worth and our values, right? And how we value ourselves. So I think that there's been so much that has been coming up for you over the past number of years here, Claire, where you've changed, right? You've worked on yourself. And what we also want to talk about actually is the fact that the secondary progressed Venus is in Leo. And oh my gosh, this is highlighting to me this whole notion of loving the self, of embracing who you are. Self-expression as well is a big part of this. Being self-assured, like that self-assurance is saying, hey, you know what? I know my worth. I know what I'm capable of. But I can't help but think at the same time, when we bring it back to the Scorpio influence in the fourth, and then with Mars and everything in Leo, I can't help but think that there's some triggering points that have been coming up for you. And we also want to, of course, recognize the fact that you're going through your Chiron return right now, okay? Because you've got Chiron retrograde in Aries and you've also got Moon in Aries. So this is a very sensitive area. This is a sensitive topic to talk about. And I hope that I'm not sort of crossing any, boundaries in this way. But the North Node and Chiron are both in Aries right now, and they're at 16 degrees. They're right on Chiron for you. So, what is this Chiron return all about? It really does look at this whole healing process. It can literally look at opening up old wounds, having to face old wounds. What are these wounds tied to? They could be tied to family, right? They could be tied to the past, tied to memories, tied to, even when we want to create more detail to this, tied to that of fighting, arguments, disagreements, even volatile behaviors, lashing out type of stuff, even rivalry between siblings, rivalry between cousins or peers, classmates, this type of stuff, old school, old friends, right? This type of stuff. And the reason why I'm saying this is because Uranus is also making that opposition there to the moon. And so it is interesting because even the South Node is as well. It's quite close to Uranus for you as well. So what this is suggesting to me is that you are going through this whole reinvention of the self, this reinvention of the self when it comes to people pleasing, codependency, unconscious habits, especially when it comes to codependency, because you've got Pluto there as well in Libra, right? And the other thing about it is, again, it goes back to transformation. It goes back to these renewals and you evolving past the old narratives, past the old ways of communicating and the old ways of showing up when it comes to siblings, when it comes to your neighbors, when it comes to how you communicate, right? And then you look at the North Node and you think about how this is about you following this trajectory, this path toward that of independence and being a leader. And do you know what? Seeing that you're nurturing, basically, like you're nurturing your leadership qualities. You've got the moon there in Aries, and to feel safe, to feel secure, it's so much about being able to initiate, right? Being able to follow your passions, to follow what, really you feel called to. There's this call to action when it comes to Aries. Of course, this is also about trying to not give in to every single impulse, right? There's a sense of control, but I feel as if you've worked through a lot of this stuff. You've already been doing the work. You've already been healing in so many powerful ways. Maybe you even recognize how such, impulses or certain drives are somehow linked to the mother, or they're linked to family, those unconscious patterns, right? The conditioning to do with the moon. But the other thing I want to mention is when we look to the secondary progressions, so secondary progressed Sun is coming to the end of Virgo. It's going to enter Libra in the next couple of years. Secondary progressed Mars, okay, that's 23 degrees. Secondary progressed Mercury is there at the very end of Virgo at 29 degrees. So yeah, that's going to enter Libra very soon. Yeah, so basically, over the next couple of years, we're going to notice here these shifts coming up, right? These shifts coming up when it comes to the communication piece, especially whenever these secondary progressions join forces with Pluto. So to me, you are already doing all of this work already. You are evolving, you are transforming, and you're healing. You're growing in such huge magnetic ways. And I think even this is looking at relationships. This is looking at the type of relationship that you wish to have with people, with others. And even on that note of relationships, before the secondary progressed, let me just finish that point. Before the secondary progressed, Venus entered Leo, which was a good few years ago, right? But there was still a big portion of your life whenever that secondary progressed Venus was traveling through the 12th house for you in Cancer. I can help but think that for a good portion of your life, perhaps it's that you sought some type of emotional support, emotional assistance. You maybe went to could be therapy. It could be that even you earn money via a role where you were being a nurturer, a caregiver, could even be something in terms of the medical industry, right? Nursing, being a doctor, this type of stuff is coming to my mind. But this also, I think, suggests a good portion of your life of just a lot of reflection, healing, and all of the emotional things that would have came up to the surface and that you've worked through. Okay, Claire, that was yours. I hope that you find it to be helpful. I hope so. Thank you so much. Okay, so Bushra, we're going to be moving on to yours. And you said, Claire, yes, all true. Okay, interesting. Yes. Thank you so much, Claire. And again, I hope that you did find it to be helpful. Okay, let's see. So, Bushra, you want to know career, money, and purpose. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Bum, ba-dum, bum. Yeah. Just grabbing your chart. Sadly, no KP, but I will refund you, KP, just so you know. Sadly, you did not give me your birth information, so there's not much I can do, unfortunately. But thank you anyway. Let's see. Bushra. I'm just looking through some timing techniques for you. Okay. That is 10th. Oh, very interesting. Okay. Okay, cool. Cool. Let me actually just grab a date. I want to find a specific date for you, Bushra. Have it. Okay, cool. Right, so we're going to start the timer. So there's a highlight on career and money. All right, got it. Got it. Oh, actually, on second thought, I want to type in another date. I want to find another date. Just want to give you this information. Excuse me. Okay. All right. We're going to start the timer for you. Let's do this. Okay. So, what stood out to me first and foremost for you, Bushra, is the fact that the 10th house is being activated for you. Okay, so you're 21. This means then that the 10th house is activated for the year. So you have the midheaven and Neptune retrograde, as well as Uranus retrograde there in Aquarius in the 10th house. So I do feel as if, when it comes to the likes of career, when it comes to achievements, accomplishments, your life's work, stuff like this, purpose, I think you're someone who you prefer to march to the beat of your own drum. And I think that you do seek some type of originality, and you seek to find a career path that aligns with your ability to reinvent yourself, to really be able to create change and to do something that's quite unique or different. And perhaps as well, this is indicating that the likes of science, technology, media, these types of roles really do grab your attention and your focus. Then again, this could be where there's also this importance to do with creativity and art, right? And being able to really flow when it comes to these things, because Neptune is there, and it's also making that conjunction to the midheaven. The orb is quite wide, but I would still say, there's something in this, right? And it's still in the 10th house. And what we also want to mention is the fact that Pluto has entered Aquarius. It has re-entered Aquarius. It will dip back into Capricorn for a few months this year, but as Pluto does start to transit that 10th house arena for you over the next 20 years or so, we are going to notice then for you these pretty powerful changes to do with your career path. And, it could be that such things are not the most comfortable or safe or settled. It's not necessarily a consistent thing or where you feel super settled. It could be that there's just such changes happening that can almost evolve you or awaken you in some respects. The reason why I'm saying this is especially because Uranus is also there in the 10th. So you could see pretty notable changes in this regard when it comes to career and success. But we want to look more at this, don't we? We want to explore Saturn. Because Saturn then would be the ruler, what the traditional ruler of Aquarius, of your midheaven. So you have Saturn in Gemini, and this is the sort of date stuff that I wanted to look into. And I was thinking, you got Saturn in Gemini. Your Saturn return isn't going to be until around about 2030, 2032. So that's still a long way away. But I think that the Saturn influence here in the second house, this indicates some type of role where you are an authority, right? Maybe this is looking at you being a responsible investor, you being a mature and responsible and dedicated financial advisor, or this could be where there's some type of change, right? There's a flexibility, there's a versatility as well when it comes to work and jobs. North Node also in Gemini, the secondary progressive ascendant is in Gemini. What I get from this is perhaps for you, Bushra, it's like there's going to be a couple of different roles you're going to take on. And maybe you sort of like it that way, or you will, and you would rather prefer that, where you have that flexibility, that freedom to maybe do something over here and then do something different, to have some time doing something and then the other time doing another thing. But the stuff to do with things is, I think these things are related to that of marketing, advertising, teaching, media. Even think about this on a very realistic, practical level, right? We got to think about the future. We got to think about the whole AI stuff and how things are really evolving there, and how the technological world and all the technological advancements are sort of happening. Okay, interesting to think that also Uranus makes that trine to Saturn for you. So yeah, but this, I think, suggests you being in a role or in a couple of different roles where you're innovating, where you're being creative. maybe design is a big part of this, or maybe seeing how advertising and marketing and media are going to change so drastically over the next coming years, even before your Saturn return occurs. But here is the beauty of this. This is the beauty. This is the beauty. Jupiter is going to enter Gemini June 2024, and then also with Pluto transiting that 10th house for you. What's this doing? Preparing you for your Saturn return, preparing you for what's to come. This to me is the type of energy, Bushra, that says you're going to be in roles where you're getting ahead of the curve. You are going to be smart. You're going to know, okay, how can I be 2 steps ahead, a few steps ahead, actually. And we also want to look at other information to help us with this, to help support this information, because what do we see here? We see that you have this Taurus rising, plus you have Venus in Scorpio, which is opposite. And then what we also see here is that you have both Mars and Mercury retrograde in Virgo. So what does this kind of suggest to me overall? I think what this is looking at is your ability to be consistent in your approach, your ability to be routine, especially when it comes to something where it's like, okay, there's an incentive, there's a goal, there's a reason for this, there's a purpose for this. But at the same time, with the Venus energy, of course, Venus is the chart ruler, perhaps this is largely about you managing other people's accounts. This is about you really looking into the likes of debts or taxes or loans, or possibly even working within some type of criminal role. So this could be where you're in charge of seeing, okay, who are the imposters? This is so fascinating to me because we are going to see this as we progress further into the future. We're going to see more things to do with identity theft. We're going to see more stuff, to do with how the online world can be, used in perhaps more of a manipulative way or in a criminal-like way, thinking about spying and stuff like this. Even Pluto is in Sagittarius in the 8th house for you. So there could be some type of trajectory where you are looking at, okay, where are the accounts, what are the details, what are the systems, how are things operating, how can we help people not fall for maybe criminal activity or for manipulation or identity theft, this type of stuff, as I was saying. Or it could be that what you will really gravitate toward is that of really helping others, service, right? Healing professions. Think about the Virgo influence too. I think the Virgo part of it is looking at the tiniest of details. And even with Mercury being retrograde, you really do home in on those details, and you can pick things apart just so well. So I think a lot of this even looks at data entry, organization, how certain systems are organized, how they function in a way. Maybe there's enjoyment in this. Maybe, hey, do you know what? This could even indicate some type of role when it comes to engineering, when it comes to literally building a computer, literally building a program, right? You may be so good at that, or maybe there's enjoyment when it comes to these types of rules, right? There's an enjoyment in really trying to see, okay, well, how is the data all researched and how is it formulated? And how can we create something from this data? Maybe a physical sort of product as well that could very well be sold to people as a way to help transform their lives, right? There could be something even to do with health, to do with the medical industry in this regard. Even look at how you've got both the sun and moon, both the sun and moon in Libra in the 6th house. The 6th house looks at health, it looks at service. So the Libra influence, I think, adds this layer of, really wanting to work with people and wanting to see other people do well and to see them happy and healthy, right? Healthy people. You want healthy humans. You want to be there as a way to support humanity. And this is even linked to the 10th house activation for you, right? Because the moon is making a trine to the midheaven, right? So that, I think, just adds this layer of being caring and being supportive, but doing even this in a way where it's about communication too. It's about how you can assist others in a way where they feel, hey, I'm really being listened to. I'm really being supported here by Bushra. And I feel like there's a safe space here. I just think that with especially Venus being the dispositor of the Libra energy for you and how that's in Scorpio in the seventh, there's just so much compassion in you. There's so much depth to you. And there's a real pull toward that of intimacy and vulnerability. Maybe we could see you within roles that include the likes of psychology or counseling, for instance. And also with the money related stuff, okay, you've got North Node and Saturn in Gemini. So I think, I was saying there earlier about how you perhaps are going to mature in a way where you are this responsible investor, for instance. So I think this is looking at the money moves. This is looking at your intellect when it comes to finances. But the North Node and Saturn also suggest here that this is a process, right? This is a process. This is all about the skills that you're going to learn, that you're going to develop over the years to help you get to that point where you can see, right, this makes sense. And then perhaps even as you start to approach your Saturn return, especially, that's going to be where there's more responsibility on your end. There's greater responsibility. Okay, Bushra, so that was yours. I hope that you find it to be helpful. So, lastly, we're moving on to Fran. Hello, Sanika. Welcome. Interesting, Bushra. Huh. You thought you were bad in some way. Well, hey, it is an interesting one because the North Node and Saturn are there, and you're 21. You have so much ahead of you. Let's just say so much. But yeah, I do wish you all the best. And as I say, when it comes to these readings, it's more like, okay, quick, I see this, I see this. But for more in-depth, more detailed, thorough readings, you can always book a reading with me over at hannahselsewhere.com. And even as well, I would say with you, Bushra, keep an eye on that secondary progressed Venus retrograde, see when that will go direct. I was trying to look at the dates to go way back, but I don't think it's going to go direct for many years, but could be something just to keep up with. All right, so Fran, let's do this. Lastly, you are the last person to book today. Thank you so much for booking with me, everyone. And I wish you all the best, with your readings, and I hope that you can make use of the information. Right, so let's see. Third and yep. And happy birthday to Fran, because it's going to be your birthday in the next few days. I hope you have a lovely birthday. Thank you so much, Bushra. Thank you. I appreciate you booking today, and I really hope that you find it to be helpful. Okay, so Fran, let's see. And let me just... first. Oh, no. No, 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 no. 50. Excuse me. Okay. Interesting. Okay, just give me a moment because I'm seeing an interesting pattern in your chart. Let me just see if this fascinating chart indeed. Let's see. Go here. And then I'm going to just share my screen. If I remove the top. Okay. All right. Let's see. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Some more. Yep. Pluto. Trine. Sextile. Trine. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so we're going to set the timer for Fran. Fran, you did say that you wanted this left until the end, so here it is. I hope that you find it to be helpful. Right. Transits. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. All right, first things first, Fran. Absolutely just caught my eye this chart. So you have this mystical rectangle in your chart. We see here that you have so much Pisces, and then this Pisces energy is opposing the Virgo. And then we also see that you have this Neptune opposing Jupiter. But then you see the Virgo is creating this trine to Taurus, and then Pisces is creating the trine to the Neptune energy. So this to me suggests that you have just this soulful essence to you, someone who is very much aligned with your spiritual values, your spiritual principles. I think that you strongly feel like, you know what, you were born here for a very significant reason, okay? And maybe a lot of that is to do with helping others, looking at causes, looking at certain healing practices that can be used as a way to give to others or as a way to really benefit them. Let's even think about how, so you have this Aquarius rising, right? So this Aquarius rising, the humanitarian, and how the secondary progressed midheaven is about to make a conjunction to the ascendant. This is quite the turning point. This is really a matter of how your trajectory and your purpose is going to be strongly aligned with that of giving back, right? Being this generous influence in the world and making a difference. But Saturn, of course, being one of the rulers of Aquarius, the chart ruler is in Pisces. So you're actually experiencing your second Saturn return, Fran. So this within itself is also suggesting a major shift to do with maturity and a whole new era, like a whole new stage in your life where perhaps it's linked back to that of worth, or it's linked back to that of um, being financially mature and wise. Wise is definitely the word for this, I think, because this Pisces influence, I think, is showing just how wise you are. And there's just this thing about you, I think, where you're not overly attached to people, places, and things. I get this sense from you that there's a part of you that believes and has always believed that, things will work out in the end, or that things play out the way that they should play out. And it's not about trying to control the tides or wherever the way things go. It's more about flow. It's more about creating more of that harmony with the universe, right? Or with God, or however it is that you think, or what it is that you believe in this way. But yeah, I would say that there's been so much healing on your part, so much reflection on your part, especially regarding that of self-worth, value, especially that of your finances, your belongings, stuff like this. And we also notice, of course, with the oppositions to the Virgo energy in the eighth house, yes, we are noticing that you were saying about with your love life. And I do sincerely, my condolences basically to you, Fran, from the information that you shared. So with that energy, we're seeing the profound changes. We're seeing the grief, right? We're seeing the stuff to do with loss, and we're seeing as well the amount of just the transformations that you've been forced, I suppose, to go through, and that you've been forced to look at. And I'm sure things have not been the easiest, but I do think at the same time that you are someone who is showcased time and time again that you can take responsibility for, your own sort of personal path. And at the same time, I just see this as you still continuing to show people compassion and kindness and empathy, no matter where you go, no matter who you talk to. I think you always come back to that, even though perhaps it is that you've been through real, struggles and challenges throughout your life. A lot of it comes back to just being a decent, kind, honest, genuine person. Now, you did also ask about love life, right? And what I wanted to do then is I wanted to explore some transits for you. What's interesting that's going to come up ahead actually for you, Fran, is Jupiter is going to enter Gemini. So it's going to enter Gemini June 2024. And that means it's going to transit your fifth house of what? Your fifth house of love, your love life, romance, stuff like this. Pleasure as well. So this could be a potential for some change, for some spice, right? For something new to be ushered in, a new opportunity, time for growth, something quite innocent, actually, something quite youthful and playful and lighthearted, right? Gemini very much can showcase these qualities. But we also want to talk about how right now Pluto is coming very close to your ascendant in Aquarius there. Now, Pluto will re enter Capricorn for a couple of months this year and then come back into Aquarius by the end of the year. And then it will continue through your first house for the next 20 years. So, that I feel also is going to be quite huge for the trajectory of your life and how there could very well be huge changes coming up in terms of your identity, in terms of your own path. And of course, identity can fall under the umbrella of things like career, title, marriage, stuff like this. And the other significant thing is Pluto will eventually start to make that trine to the North Node as well. That's not going to be for, I would say, another 10 years perhaps or so, something like that. So still that could suggest some type of growth there to do with romance and love, perhaps even looking at how you'll make matters a lot more serious in this way. That could be a potential with the Pluto influence, or really wanting to more focus on that of intimacy and depth and closeness. And you already have these qualities about you, I think. You do have Pluto there in Virgo already, suggesting this. But we also want to talk about how Venus and Mars are transiting your first house. This is quite attractive energy. This is the type of energy that says, hey, you know what? I'm feeling good about myself. I know what I want. Or this is the type of energy that says I'm willing to get out there and make moves and to be assertive, okay? And this charge, this surge of energy can be quite contagious or inviting or alluring. There is this sex appeal that you're giving off with I think Mars and Venus both transiting the first, and as I say, there is this attractive pace. But at the same time, I think this is about difference, right? This is about something that perhaps you haven't really thought of before, or attracting types of people that you wouldn't normally attract, this type of stuff. But what I even want to mention for you as well is the fact that we will start to see eclipses happening in both Pisces and Virgo over the next couple of years. So this is all going to start by September of this year. We're going to notice this lunar eclipse opening these eclipses on this axis for the next 2 years onwards or so. 18 months, 2 years, something like that. So this is going to, of course, activate all the Pisces. You've got Venus there, of course, okay? And then all the Virgo. You've got Mars in Virgo too. So we're seeing these planets to do with relationships, right? To do with attraction, to do with love, to do with sex. These planets are going to be activated. Now, what you also want to do, of course, Fran, is look at the degrees of the eclipses coming up. But I do think that it's worth noting because most of your planets are in these signs. Even think about how the eighth house looks at intimacy, right? It looks at how we do bond on an emotional level, how we further our commitments, right? And so that could very well suggest some type of activation point, a significant new chapter to do with these areas. But I think at the same time, this is also about being somewhat, how do we say, gentle. Gentle with yourself, gentle throughout your own sort of healing process, especially if it is that, because with the grieving process, it's not something that you just, you switch off. I think that this is also welcoming some type of um, uh, safety and security and kindness and compassion to those more sensitive feelings. Okay. Right. So, Fran, that was yours. That was yours. Finito. Finished. That's everybody. Thank you so much for being here. All right, so to confirm, thank you, Fran. Thank you so much for booking with me today. I hope that you found it to be helpful. That mystical rectangle really jumped out at me. Oh my gosh, I was like, wow, wow, so interesting. Also, I want to say hello to Nelly. Thank you for being here. You joined right at the end, and thank you all to you who have Perfect. To you who have booked, thank you so much. And it's in 2018, you said, Fran. Yes, hopefully next time. And yes, so basically, Fran, once this live stream is all ended, you'll be able to watch it. It'll be here on YouTube. You can watch it as many times as you like until, of course, I don't know, for some reason, who knows? It could be that YouTube takes it down. I don't know. Let's hope that does not happen. But it'll be here, basically, okay? Um, and okay, Fran. Well, do you know what? I wish you all the best then in that way. I do. I wish you all the best. And thank you all so much for being here today. Like I said, thank you for booking. And these were 10-minute readings. If you are interested in diving deeper or, taking more of a thorough look at your chart, you can always book a reading with me at hannahselsewhere.com. And just a reminder, Sean, I will remember you for the next session. Going to remember Sean for the next session. And KP, didn't hear from you. I'm going to send you a refund, okay? But yeah. But thank you anyway. Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend, and I will talk to you all soon. I'll see you tomorrow night. We're going to be talking about March. Okay, see you later. Bye.